Hey everyone, it's Finn here from the SDGC Live at Pax West 2025, talking to Harrison of Flat 9 Games. What is this absolute mind trip that I just experienced?
Well, Letter Lost is a totally normal post office game where nothing weird ever happens. We compare it to the work sim portion of Papers, Please and the escape room portion of Inscryption.
And it was that exact combination of descriptors that made me stop and sit down. What's been the feedback so far from people?
People have really loved it. My wife and I run this theater, we run the game company, but we also run a theater company in Minneapolis. And so we have found that people really enjoy role-playing within the world. So we just sort of give them a little breadcrumb trail of something to play back and forth with us on, with hiring them at our pretend post office here, and people just are really willing to take it and run with it. It's been a lot of fun.
You're not wrong. Like, you've just been handing out letters to people. That's why you have your shirt. Ask me about your mail.
That's right.
How did this even come about? Because this is the kind of game that, even though the demo was the opening days, you could already get the sense that something is very much not going to be okay. How twisted do you get in this experience?
We like to call it opt-in horror. So the game will present the player with options or choices, and the player can absolutely nope out of any situation that not any, but most of the situations that you're presented with. But I think the most demented ones are intentionally crashing your game and receiving phone calls from developers, troubleshooting your game, all sorts of things that we're just looking to see if even one person finds that would just make my day. But yeah, nothing is off the table. Nothing could be too weird to appear in this game.
So would you say, is the game randomly generated in that sense, or is it all scripted and it all just depends on your choices and actions?
It's a little bit of both. So we have several story NPCs that can appear at random intervals. And those are the ones that will offer the player some sort of a problem that they have to solve or investigate. Or just find different ways to solve that problem. And then there are random generated letters and NPCs that all have random names or random contents inside of the letters, etc., in addition to those story elements.
How long of an experience are you crafting here, or is it just, I imagine with this game there's going to be high replayability. So what balance are you going with that?
Yeah, the replayability is a big hope of ours. It's a difficult one to gauge because a lot of it is dealing with puzzles and experimenting with solutions of those puzzles. So a clever person may solve a puzzle in 30 seconds, while someone may experiment and try to find different options and take them 2 hours on the same puzzle. But I'm really aiming for probably a 15-ish, a soft 15 hours of experiments. Yeah.
How long have you guys been working on it?
We've been in full-time development for about 1 year and 3 months. But my associate, I don't know where he went. He's behind the table. He builds and designs live escape rooms for a living. And we've been sort of ideating on it for close to 2 years now and designing the stories and the puzzles.
So how did you go from theater company to game company? That feels like an interesting pipeline.
I'm apparently a workaholic. I'm discovering about myself. My hobbies are just starting new businesses, apparently. So we do live theater, but we do weird theater and we do interactive theater. And my wife and I just had this thought, well, what if we did our interactivity, interacting between the developers and the fan base within a game, using our theater background, and that ended up being Letter Lost.
I mean, it's a great concept. So I assume you were fans of both of the games you quoted. Were there any other inspirations that found their way into this?
Absolutely. Outer Wilds, I think, was the biggest one that started me on the path of games can be more than just a fun experience. It can be a vehicle for developing a compelling experience in addition to the game itself.
Very nice. What would you say to people that might be on the fence? How would you tip them over to your side?
Yeah, I'd say our biggest hook that we try to hook people with is curiosity and rewarding players for experimenting with their curiosity. So a widow may come up and say, can you mail this letter to my dead husband? And, the normal response is, no, I can't, return to sender. But if you could find a way to mail to that husband, you might get a response back.
I actually encountered that woman in my demo. I definitely broke some laws and opened up the letter and read it myself. And then I mailed it back to sender because I didn't know what to do from that. Because when you have a limited time demo, you just want to like just jump around. So I do have one question though, because the one mystery that I wanted to see how it went down was the couple looking for their missing daughter.
Ooh.
Was that the same person that the waterlogged woman wanted you to mail her admirer package to?
That's an interesting one. I don't want to spoil anything.
Spoilers for those listening to this with no context.
Those are two separate storyline breadcrumbs, we would call them. The waterlogged one, that's our sort of dark dating sim path that we would offer you on. And then the other one we call the runaway child. So, you found both of the breadcrumb trails to start those paths.
Neat, and apparently I almost also died.
You did. You almost found a monster in the closet, which is totally normal, by the way, not weird at all. But you got this close to triggering something rather sinister to come out of your closet at night.
Hey, you know what? Gotta play next time. Where can people follow you, your company, the game's progress? Do we have platforms in mind? Do we have a tentative launch date? Hit us with the hard data.
So we're looking to launch our demo within the next couple of weeks here after PAX, depending on resolving some bugs and feedback from PAX. That might vary the time. We're aiming to launch sometime around December. And then if you want to find anything out about the game, you can go to flat9games.com. And then from there, we also have an online ARG experience that is live right now. If you want to interact with our game, our town of Carnum Isle has a fully fledged website with lots of errors on there to discover and figure out what went wrong when our intern Andy put the site together. I know he's spending time in the penance chambers for his sins, so he couldn't make it to PAX here. But there's lots of secrets to uncover, lots of things to find, and lots more content to come down the road.
Fantastic. My final question is always the hardest one.
Okay.
In your heart of hearts, if you have to choose, cake or pie?
Cake or pie? Oh my God. I think I have to go with pie. I prefer the warm desserts personally.
That's why your game's great, because you chose properly in the question that has no right answer. But you chose the same answer I would do, which makes me like you more. So thank you very much for your time, Harrison.
Absolutely. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I can do it.